Welcome back to The Takeout. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is scheduled to testify tomorrow in the trial of his former roommate. Former Miami area Republican Congressman David Rivera is accused in a long-running investigation of secretly lobbying on behalf of the Venezuelan government. Prosecutors say a Venezuelan oil company gave him $50 million in exchange for help in ending American sanctions. Rivera denies all wrongdoing. CBS News Miami's Jim DeFede has tracked this case for years and the relationship between Rubio and Rivera, and he joins us now with more from South Florida. Mr. DeFede, great to see you. You interviewed then Senator Rubio about this back in 2022. I want to play the audience a little bit of what he had to say.
Have you ever had a conversation with David Rivera regarding his representation of Venezuela?
No, but I can tell you this, that it had nothing to do with me. None of those articles. The only reason, every single one of those articles gratuitously mentions that the guy and I were roommates in Tallahassee over a decade and a half ago. It's just silly.
But have you ever actually asked him, what are you doing representing? You're an outspoken critic of Maduro and Venezuela. Have you ever called him out on this?
I've seen the articles. I've never discussed it with him.
How does that denial from now Secretary Rubio hold up today?
Well, technically, he is right when he said that he did not discuss his representation of Venezuela, because at the time, Marco Rubio says he didn't know he was representing Venezuela, that he had that secret $50 million contract to represent the Venezuelan government. Now, it is disingenuous for him to then say that it has nothing to do with him, because it has everything to do with him. And that's why he's testifying tomorrow morning in federal court, because the real purpose of hiring David Rivera by the Venezuelan government was, in essence, according to prosecutors, to gain access to Marco Rubio because they were such close friends. And the Maduro regime wanted to figure out a way to have sanctions lifted by the United States against the country and ease things along. And they thought that David Rivera and his relationship to Marco Rubio could play a role in that.
Did I hear that they wanted to have Maduro testify in this case?
They did. As soon as he was captured, Rivera's defense team immediately subpoenaed him to come in. And of course, you know, Maduro's attorneys let it be known that they would be pleading the Fifth Amendment and refused to. But that's not the only person they tried to bring into this case. They also subpoenaed Susie Wiles, White House chief of staff, and Kellyanne Conway, former advisor to Donald Trump. They were throwing out all of these crazy subpoenas, hoping that it would cause enough embarrassment to the Trump administration that Donald Trump would then put pressure on the Justice Department to get rid of this case, which a lot of people are sort of amazed that this case has survived. The one subpoena that has held up has been the Marco Rubio subpoena. And again, he will be testifying in this case against his former longtime friend.
And we should point out, there's no allegation of wrongdoing against the now Secretary of State, but Rivera and him were roommates and co-owners of a home in Tallahassee when they were both state lawmakers, right?
They were. I mean, their relationship goes back 30 years. When Marco Rubio was 21, 22 years old, he and Rivera were volunteers on, and you'll appreciate this, Ed, being from Florida back in the day, from Lincoln Diaz-Balart, Congressman Lincoln Diaz-Balart's first campaign for Congress in 1992. Rivera and Rubio were volunteers on that campaign way back in the day and have been friends ever since.
That is a fascinating reminder of the longevity of some in South Florida politics, and we'll see if this settles the long-running saga of David Rivera for Marco Rubio as, you know, who knows? Maybe he gets ready for something bigger come 2028. Jim DeFede of CBS Miami, I know you'll be following it. We appreciate you previewing it for us today. We'll be in touch.